Hi everyone, Basil here for Get Up and Get with Basil. Today I have a friend and a guest that I'm delighted to have on. We're down in Cortown, so that'll shorten the guest on it. But this man helped me massively in the last two to 3 years of my professional boxing career, and I know that he is helping a massive amount of young people in the Gorey Cortown area at the moment. So I'd like to introduce you to Matt Dunbar.
How's it going, everyone? Are you well? You good? How are you, Baz?
Good, thank God. So
I'll
Matt,
call you Niall this time.
no, don't. Yeah. So we had an outtake. I was called Niall, and I don't like that. My mum, my wife are the only people saying Niall, and I get given.
Only when you're in trouble, that's all.
Generally, when I'm fucking up, yeah. So, Matt, I'm delighted to have you on.
I'm delighted to be here because being asked compared to your other guests, I'm just a little mini fish, to be fair, compared to the other guests you've had.
Well, that's not true. When you hear this man's journey, it's unbelievable. But for anyone that's not aware of who you are, would you introduce yourself to us?
Yeah. My name is Matt Dunbar. Matt, I'm called, or if you know me for years, Sticks, probably around Cortown. You'll probably realise that if you ever see me in a pair of shorts. It was a rough out childhood, little skinny legs.
It's covering these Tom Tecker there as well, I think.
Yeah, I have to cover. So I'm for Cortown, as Baz was saying. Grew up, it was in Etchingham Heights. It's known as a council estate, I suppose. It was the first one around. I think I remember Niall, you mentioning that you grew up in one as well, and it was known as the rough area, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But it was the only one around. It was known as the rough area. It was in the late 80s, so but it was a lovely area. It wasn't rough if you grew up in it, if that makes sense.
Genuinely, it was in the early 80s. He's telling lies. He was born in the early 80s.
That was in the early 80s, to be fair. 84, we go with that one. So I turned 40, so that's a big milestone. That's the reason the hat is on as well.
I would have spent a massive amount of time in Etchingham Heights myself, down with Eugene and Leighton and all, playing football.
And that's the thing as well. I think there's a lot of talent came from there, and the same with Willow Park. Because I put it down to the kids where we were just literally out playing soccer 24/7.
Yeah.
There's some great soccer players came out of it, I would say. I'm not one of them now, but there is a lot.
We hadn't got technology, I suppose, and we had to entertain ourselves.
100%. Like, we used to play games as flipping, we used to beat the crap out of each other. It was called armies, and you had to catch a man and beat him. Like, but there's none of that now. Because I'm back with the father, and the house estate's empty. It's just, that's what it is. All the kids are gone on and moved on, I suppose.
Yeah.
But I put that down to a lot. I put a lot of talent down to kids that we were just playing soccer 24/7. That's all it was.
That's all we had.
Yeah.
But
apart from when tennis came along and the gates were closed and everyone had a tennis racket down.
Yeah, that was when Wimbledon generally happened. So, like, just to give you a short, and I'll give a short bit, but Matthew, like I said, for the last 2 to 3 years of my boxing career was my strength and conditioning coach. Unbelievable knowledge, unbelievable way of coaching. Really kind, would open your hole a little bit if needs be as well, and with me probably needed, in fairness, but always on the end of the phone as well if you were ever doubting yourself or something like that. So he was really good for me, and we're actually, it's strange, but I haven't been in this gym since our last session together. It's called Olympia Gym now.
Olympia Gym now, and Screw Loose as well. So I just want to give them a big shout out as well for letting us use the facility. But I think, that was during COVID, I think.
Yeah, it was now as a professional athlete you're allowed to train during COVID.
Yes, that's what I was about to say. Yeah, we were given the go ahead and we're allowed to come up during COVID, staying our 2 meters apart. Yeah. So I had to get a stick long enough to hit Basil then.
Yeah, and if I had moved my head a little bit quicker, I probably would have been able to continue boxing. But my main reason, Matt has been extremely nervous about this for no reason, right? Because it's a chat between friends. But my main reason for asking Matt is that he has had an unbelievable journey, and I'm going to hopefully let you take over a little bit there now and let us know.
So my journey, I suppose, is not with gambling or alcohol, around. It's more like Basil was saying, nerves, anxiety, things like that. And I had a normal childhood, really good childhood. It wasn't till went to community school. That's where I know Baz from. very shy, if I'm honest, shy young lad. I used to remember like under 10s, I'd be crying before a match and things like that, just because I overthunk. I'd like continuously overthunk and thought everyone was better than me. I'd always had someone up on a pedestal. But it wasn't until I was 13 and one of the worst things in my life ever happened was my mother passed away. She passed away from cancer, so the one person that we loved the most, I was kind of left with where is she kind of thing. And yeah, but I bottled it up, if I'm honest. I went through school, like I was in first year when it happened. We, you know ourselves, a lot of things going on in first year as it is, without that happening. And went through school, kind of designed a character, I suppose, that if it was funny, people would like me kind of thing. And I think it wasn't cool to study back then. So you're a bit of a messer and you're like, oh, you didn't study for that test and then you fail and you wouldn't care kind of thing. But yeah, I went through secondary school and it, like that, failed to leave cert. Well, I was told, I don't know if you were told this as well, if you fail maths, I think that's it. Like, I don't think you can get into.
Surprisingly enough, I didn't fail my leaving cert. I don't know how, but I didn't.
Yeah, so we were always told that if you fail maths, I think it was, if you fail it, you just couldn't get into college. Now that I know a bit more, I think it's just you couldn't get into college. But back then, that was it. I opened leaving cert results. But again, just backtracking a little, I started school when I was 4 in June. I was 4 in June and started in September. And I skipped transition year as well. Yeah. So I was 16 doing leaving cert.
Yeah. Very young.
No, I didn't know my arse from the elbow, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
So my first time doing it, I failed the maths. Same again, I repeated, and I only repeated because one of my mates was in the year down below. I actually would have ended up in your year then, yeah. And one of my mates was in the year down below and went back. And like that, sure didn't know what I wanted to do. So my father said, look, we'll just go back and do another year. But I ended up failing it again anyway. But I didn't put in the effort. So fast forward, ended up working with a few people. Plumber, my neighbour was a plumber. Worked with him for a while. Worked in a factory in Galway that I think everyone was employed by at one point, and then done a bit of carpentry. But it wasn't until I was 26 to 28, that was probably the worst time in my life. I remember living with my mates and I'd wake up in the middle of the night and I'd be dry heaving and I wouldn't be able to catch my breath. And there was no reason out of this, we didn't know what it was. And that went on for a good year, and it wasn't until, I'd say, it got really bad that I ended up moving home. And I ended up down in hospital. I used to have panic attacks every single day. I'd have a panic attack about having a panic attack, if that makes sense, and that was a cycle. Yeah. So basically, I can feel it now, I'm getting anxious about it. But so I'd be thinking about having a panic attack, and that would lead on to a panic attack, and that's the vicious cycle of a panic attack.
No, and it's mad, right? So I'm learning new stuff here now as well today, but I wasn't aware of that, and my only understanding of panic attacks is I actually had one on the way to the ring for the Babbage fight, and they're horrible. It's a horrible experience. So I'm lucky. Anxiety was never something I had. It looked like I was developing it near the end, but thank God I didn't. I found things that were able to help it, so I'm lucky.
Yeah, I think that was my biggest thing as well, that when it happened, I fixated on it then. I was like, shit, I have anxiety now, I have anxiety kind of thing. But yeah, backtracking a little bit more, so basically I think it was coming up to Christmas before I was 28, and I ended up in hospital. It got to a point where I went into gore, and this to show you how powerful the mind is. If you know gore, you know the chapel where you park before the doctors. I convinced myself that my legs couldn't hold me. I was shaking, my legs were wobbling going up. My father was a little bit ahead. And thank God to my father for everything. Anytime I needed him, he was there. And he drove me in, and I wobbled and basically went in, got bloods. Look, there's nothing wrong with you, but we're sending you down to the hospital. So I went down to the hospital then, and same situation, look, nothing wrong with you. I actually they gave me medication and it calmed me down, it was grand. Nothing wrong with you, but what I want you to do, he actually pulled my father aside and said to him, what I want you to do at the time was, do you remember St. Senans?
Yeah.
So again, that's a big stigma of your mental, if you're there, you're so mad kind of thing. And St. Senans was, I was in Wexford General, and St. Senans was on the way home. And the minute my father came over and said to me, look, I want you to just drop into St. Senans for an hour or two. I broke down then. I was like, okay, I'm designed to be this mental patient. I'm designed, like, I'm not meant to have a life. I don't know if you ever watched the movie, The One Who Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Probably
see that now? Jack Nicholson is in it, and it's David. But I thought that was my life. But that was before I understood what mental health and mental illness is. So I went on anyway, the father pulled in, we went in and we met a psychiatrist. And she explained that loop, like I was saying, that your thoughts feed your emotions, and your emotions feed your physical being. Like, so do you know when you're having a panic attack and it shakes and sweats and all? That's the physical part, that's gone too far already, because your thought starts it. It's the thought that starts it, and then she was there to tell me you can cut it off after the thought.
Right.
And look, it took years to understand it and all that kind of stuff, but after that I went home and I swear to God, I had the nicest beans on toast I ever had in my life. Because
He calls me Niall once more.
yeah, Basil. I had the nicest beans on toast I ever had in my life. Because what happens when you're in two different nervous systems, and that was what's happening to you with going to the ring. So you were meant to be in that fight or flight situation.
Yeah.
You were meant to, because you were getting ready to box, like. But I was stuck in that. I was stuck in that heightness and high alert kind of thing. So when I got home, I was able to relax and come down into our normal nervous system, which is the relaxed nervous system. And that's when my digestive system came back. So basically what happens when you're going to the ring, the blood will go to your legs and your arms. It'll take away from your ear, so you don't feel hungry.
I felt like I was lightheaded, I was going
Yeah,
to collapse.
that's what it does feel like. All the blood goes to your arms and your legs because it wants to get out there. It's either we're going to fight or we're going to run. And it doesn't need blood around the digestive system. It doesn't need blood up here as much. It needs it in our arms and our legs.
Yeah.
So that's why we get wobbliness, and that's why we get lightheadedness as well. Like, and it wasn't until I started studying anatomy and all that kind of stuff that I was able to relax myself and understand that okay, it's the mind that's controlling this. So it's how we think basically that is controlling what's happening in the body. Which is huge, and that's, I think, like, because now fast forward I'm teaching young lads and anxiety.
Well, I think we'll do a big whoa
yeah,
on that.
relax, I'll take it right there.
So yeah, I think he touched on a tiny little bit that, but Matt he doubted himself about school there, but he's went back, he's got himself tell your qualifications.
Yeah, so basically what happened then, I went through the whole, like, what happened with when I was 26 to 28, to put it down to grief. I didn't grieve my mother, but it was a natural thing to do. I just blocked it out during youth and got on with it kind of thing. So I grieved and we put it down to, I went to counselling. I remember I was in like a group counselling, it was like, this is not for me and things like that, but I ended up going to one-on-one counselling. Still do the odd time, like, I've no shame in that, I'd tell anyone about that.
No,
but, so when I was in one of the counselling sessions, actually, because I was known as the sporty lad in the group, they just handed me a flyer saying, look, there's a level 5 sport and rec course starting in Glory. And I had 26 was the capped age, and I was 28 at the time. I was saying to myself again, look, there's no point. And it wasn't, the counsellor made me go. And I went down on the interview, got into it anyway, and so that's where I started my journey then. So it was a level 5 sport and recreation. I was 28 at the time. Went on to Bray after that, got my PT cert, and then took a year out when the young lad was born, and went to Carlow then, applied for Carlow for strength and conditioning for 4 years. But the overthinking again, the minute I got the cert into Carlow, I was like, oh, there's some mistake, I wasn't meant to get that, and that kind of stuff, you know, where you overthink it.
That self-doubt.
Yeah, the self-doubt, what's it called, imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
So I would have had that a few times as well, especially when coming to train you, you're a professional athlete, I'm like, oh shit, I'm not out for this kind of thing. So that imposter syndrome would have kicked in as well, and I think that's very popular as well.
Yeah, but I actually remember ringing you and talking to you, and we met, you were working in the Ashdown at the time. We met in the Ashdown, we were having a cup of coffee, and I asked Matt, honestly, I said, listen, Ivan was so busy up the walls. Ivan Lynch, a phenomenal strength and conditioning trainer as well, was with me for the mainstay, the early part of my career, 4 or 5 years. Brilliant, phenomenal at his job. But Ivan, unfortunately, was way too busy and we weren't able to get together. So I met Matt, and obviously I'd known each other and always very fond of him. I asked him, but he said that to me and I couldn't believe it. He said, Baz, I don't think I have anything to offer you. And I said, are you serious? And I'd only seen him helping people in the gym in
that's
Ashton.
all, yeah.
And I just loved the way he'd done it. Like, so what I would say is that you definitely would have no reason to doubt yourself with training people. You're a phenomenal coach, a phenomenal trainer, phenomenal man. So I'm very glad that I was able to convince you, or bully him, I'm not sure, but he trained me.
I was afraid, I was a heavyweight boxer, I was afraid of this chap. But that was the thing with counsellors as well, and what's brilliant. They were able to open my eyes up and look at the facts. Look at, factually, you've got a full degree in strength and conditioning, of course you're going to be able to do it. You've been coaching for years, of course you're going to be able to. So you have to look at the facts instead of making up stuff in your mind. Yeah. So that's what the counsellors opened my eyes to as well. Like, and you have to take a breath and give yourself self-credit if you need to. Like,
clap yourself on the back a little bit sometimes.
No, 100%. So yeah, that was my journey through education. Went back at 28, like I said, failed Leaving Cert. And I put up a post there yesterday basically saying, look, at the Leaving Cert results don't matter after 23.
I put one up myself saying that, because genuinely my belief on the Leaving Cert is that if you complete the Leaving Cert, you've already shown an employer that you have the ability to complete a task and you'll turn up on time and you're going to follow it through. And the other thing I always say to young people in particular is that if you can leave school as a good, decent, kind person, you're going to succeed at whatever you do in life anyway.
Like, I'll always say to the lads as well, personality will get you a lot further than the points you got in the Leaving Cert. Like, and only again, like when I was 23, so basically 23, you become a mature student, and it's just all interview based. I was sitting in a course with lads 17, 18 years of age that got over 500 pints of Leaving Cert. I drank more pints than I got, I'd say, it was that bad. So me with my big stupid head on me in the middle of physics and chemistry after failing maths. So it is possible. But I had more interest then, I knew the value of it and all then, and I was able to put my head down, and I proved to myself that I wasn't stupid, it was just I wasn't interested back then.
So you found something you were passionate about?
Yeah, exactly, and that's what's key, like.
And I think that's, like, so, I like lots of different milestones in my life, but I do believe that you have to have a level of passion, but like I think you knew how much boxing meant to me.
Oh, 100%.
So like there was nights when I met this man at 2 o'clock in the morning because it was the only time we could get it in, but we got it in and he was as passionate about it as me. So what I would say to anyone out there, especially people who have just got Leaving Cert results, if you're passionate about something, you're going to achieve it, you're going to go to it. So go with it, go after it, chase it with a full heart, in my opinion.
You will find your way around it, like 100%. Like I always remember, and I laugh, my first physics exam in college, like third level college, was 15%. My first chemistry exam was 25, and I was fucking delighted. I was like, how did I even get them scores? But I went off, got grinds, I stood up, studied, and looked at videos and all. I went off and done it because I had passion for it. Like back in school, you didn't have passion, you wouldn't have done that.
No.
But the biggest lesson was I proved to myself that I was able to do it. I wasn't that stupid kid that I thought I was.
Yeah,
definitely.
So Matt, like, no, you. I ain't talking for a sec, but we're
200 kg on each side.
Yeah, look at this monster. Called Stickman for no reason at that point. But I think the listeners would like to know why is exercise so important, and also the second part of your story to where you are now, an educator.
So exercise for me gave me a passion. Like it's always been soccer, fitness. I've always been fit enough. Like I used to play soccer like 6 days a week and all. And it's only until I got older that was a way of me getting rid of my emotions and things.
You wouldn't think it because you've stopped lifting there now. I don't know what's going on.
I'm out of breath now. Like
alright.
I don't have to show lads up 200 like either side. So, but yeah, so it helped me with my emotions. It helped me with the anxiety. It built me so much confidence. Like especially during COVID when there was nothing around, couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Everyone had the battle during COVID. You were in your own head. I was stuck in my bedroom. So people like the bedroom is a great place on earth to relax, but it can be your worst enemy as well.
Yeah.
Especially when you're just stuck up here. So it gave me a bit of focus. I said, right, we need to get out of the house for 2 o'clock and get up here and work out. and you're always going to feel a lot better after. It's the endorphins. These little battles, you know, when you say, look, I don't want to go today, them little battles add up and they get you through the hard times in life then as well. Like,
And the dopamine release and the balance.
Yeah, the
and
dopamine release, all the endorphins, the dopamine, but it's huge, like...
we sound smart now with all these chemicals and two of us thick as ditches.
But yeah, like I always say to my clients, like, if they help you with them little battles where you don't want to go, that's your mind versus you, and basically you're overpowering your mind with what you want. Because your mind will take the easiest, your body wants to take the easiest option ever. But every time you say no, we're going now, that's when that little battle happens, and them little battles will build up and they'll get you through the hard times in life. To be fair, and that's what exercise has done for me. Obviously, you have your physical side. You get a lot more confidence. You stand up a lot more bigger in posture and things like that. Depending on your goal, what you want to do, you can hit markers, your fitness, Basil, with your boxing and things like that. But in terms of the mental health side of things, it's unbelievable to get you out of that house and gives you the routine, I suppose.
Yeah.
And now this we have Basil. Look at his firing around the wet eye head. So yeah, another side of it then is why I'm so passionate about coaching. I would have been passionate. It's something that I would have grew up with. Like anytime someone mentioned my father, because I always wanted to make him proud. He was a great coach. So I wanted to go into coaching, and it was kind of a natural thing. It was something that everyone said to me, look, at you're good at it, as when I was coaching kids here in Cortown. So I wanted to blend the two of them together with coaching and the gym, and that's where the degree and all came into things. But if I'm honest, it's just seeing people that can't do something, and then when you explain it to them in such a simple term, and then they go out and do it. That is, for me, that's like winning a World Cup. Like, it's having them, showing them something, and like, you just see it in their brain, clicks, and then they're like, I didn't think I could do that. And it's just, for me, that's the World Cup. Like, I love it.
For me, from someone on your other side, I would say you were phenomenal. Yeah. Knowing out from having called in and done talks before you. So tell us about that.
So and it's the very same situation. The love is still there. Where I am now is, remember I talked about the level 5 course that I originally started on. So now I'm the assistant coordinator of that. So I'm back running. So I'm running that. We do gym instruction, but it's the same situation. It's kids that come in. It's for people at the leaving cert, like basically like myself, the leaving cert didn't go well for them. Or someone like myself that wanted to get back into education. It's
probably struggled in mainstream school.
A lot of people that come through, and you'd wonder, if I'm honest, I've dealt with students, you'd wonder how they even got that far. But it's like that, to come into me, and it's like could be LCA or something, and they're told all their life up through school that they're no good, they're stupid. Like, it's got this stigma. And next minute you pull out anatomy and physiology, and they're like, right, they've shut off. Like, but by the end of the year, you can coax them around and you can show them that they're not stupid. They just didn't have passion for where they were. They didn't have passion for the maths around. Like, one young lad in particular, he was LCA, hated everything, or just told himself he was stupid, literally. And when I was out to explain things to him, and then he was out, you could see it in his brain that I got this, and then when he answered it right in class, he was so surprised at himself. And that, for me, like, that's the best feeling ever. Like, so for me, the course, or for the funders, it's all about fun. But for me, the course is, if you come into me as this individual and go out as this improved individual, that's progress.
Yeah, that's amazing.
100%.
Right, Matt. So
can I stop when I answer?
Yeah. You can do the coaching, sure, I'll get in on it.
Right.
So we're about to finish up, so if you would any words of advice to you, a younger matches, what would you say?
If I'm honest, it would be just say fuck it, go with it, don't overthink so much, and enjoy life, like enjoy this moment. And that's another thing I want to touch on. When Basil is doing that there now, his mind is nowhere else other than lifting the weight, and that's what's so great for mental health in the gym. Like, you can't concentrate on anything else. You have to be in the moment, and that's what's key. And that's where the happiness is, in the moment. 5 minutes ago didn't count. 5 minutes in the future doesn't count. It's just right here with me and you, like. And that's what's so good in the gym. So I would be telling myself, look, be in the moment, have a look around, and don't be writing off a week because something's happening on Sunday. You write off the whole week worrying, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And would you have found that training was your biggest help with that?
100%. Like as like we were talking there a minute ago when the camera's off, like you were benching 130 and I think I was doing 140 or something. But
We're about to see me do a poo now, I think.
yeah. So it is a thing where, look at when there's 130 down in your chest, you can't concentrate on anything else. You alright there, bud? You're practicing or?
Yeah, I was only warming up.
So like when you're on the bench and there's 130 or something, now I'm not lifting it, but whenever you're maxing out, there's nowhere your mind can be. It has to be there in the moment.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing for the gym. Like when you're here, when you're lifting the weight, you have to be in that moment. Like your head can't be somewhere else worrying.
Yeah.
And that's the key thing.
Well, I think just for us probably to finish up, the gym is amazing, and I've done all these so far running, which is equally as amazing. But it's just, I think the power of movement is unbelievable.
Yeah. The power of activity, the power of physical health is unbelievable. And especially like so us, like we're not getting any younger, let's be honest. So it does, like the more you move, and it's a saying, it's a true saying, if you don't use it, you lose it.
Yeah.
Simple as, like if you're not using the joints, you're going to wear away.
Yeah. Well, Matt, for me, I want to say thanks massively, because I know you were nervous about it for no reason.
I'm alright now, yeah, I can breathe.
But I think your journey, Matt's a father. I would love your young lad to look at the video in 10 years' time and see how, and you'd see how proud he is of you, because I had some lovely occasions when I seen him here and looking at you training me. So
and that's what I wanted to say as well. Look at with kids don't do as to say, they do as to see.
Yeah.
And if they see you as a parent just going out, just keep him fit. I've often had him up here and he'd want to do push-ups.
Yeah, I remember.
He volunteered to do a belief test because I used to do one.
Yeah.
So yeah, kids do as to see, and that's key. Like.
Gomer actually in his said a really nice comment that kids are the environment they grow up in. Like, so
100%,
I think we do have to understand that we have an obligation to make sure our little eyes see us acting at the best.
100%.
And I'm very conscious of that anyhow. But Matt, thanks a million, brother.
No,
I appreciate it massively.
See you later.